1, 2, 3, 4. The swamp is here to talk to you about a movie. 5, 6, 7, 8.
This
Yay!
intro was not very great.
Those are pom-poms.
Yeah, we just kind of happened to have them handy.
It was
as
so,
I clean out my basement.
so convenient. So
Yeah.
we're recording right now in Emily's parents' house's basement.
Yep.
Which is a groovy little spot, but Emily's twin sister is a cheerleader.
Yeah.
And so we have these amazing pom-poms, which go so well with our movie today.
So today we're here to talk to you about But I'm A Cheerleader.
And we're the Swamp.
Yeah.
The Swamp is an acronym.
Stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting.
And this month we are doing Pride Month. We picked all gay movies. Specifically, we were trying to aim for woman-loving woman movies, just because that's just how we felt.
It's kind of our ballpark.
It's kind of, I don't know. We picked all of them and we're like,
woman.
these are all just movies about lesbians.
Also, I feel more inclined to talk about something that a world that I live in, rather than like I'm not a gay man. I'm not sure that I could say much about being a gay man.
Well, I have shit to say about Brokeback Mountain. Don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong there. Yeah. But we picked a theme and we're sticking to it, and this week we're talking about the 1999 cult classic queer film But I'm A Cheerleader. Starring fucking Natasha Lyonne.
Yeah. The woman that everyone wishes was a lesbian, but is with Fred Armisen instead.
Honestly,
I love them as a couple.
If she's not gonna be with me, she can be with Fred.
I'm happy she's with Fred. I think they probably work really well together.
I like it when, like, really hot women date, like, kind of, like, weird... Like, I don't know. It just feels right to me. Like, I just picture him as, like, his character from Portlandia, where he like, cross-dresses, basically. I think her name's Gina. I'm like, that's just him around the house, I bet, honestly.
Like that woke old lady?
Yeah. No, that's Women and Women First, but that one, too, honestly.
Yeah, they own the bookstore.
Yeah. But Natasha Lyonne is not a lesbian, but Clea DuVall is. And so...
Yeah, fun fact. Dara found this out while we were watching the movie, is that if you go to Clea DuVall's... Wikipedia.
Yeah.
All it has in her personal life section is that Cleo DuVall identifies as a lesbian.
Period. That's it. Because I wanted to know, I feel like she plays a lot of lesbian roles in film, but I honestly don't really know anything about her, like, as a person, really.
The only thing I've really ever seen her in besides this is that, like...
Broad City?
Yeah, like the couple episodes of Broad City where she's dating Abby.
But so I was like, yeah, I bet she's gay in real life, but, like, let me double check.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, her Wikipedia will say if she's married. I'm like, no, she's not married. I'm like, personal life. And I'm like, oh, that's the one fact. The one listed fact. But also the woman who wrote and directed this movie is also a lesbian.
Well,
so that's cool because it's nice when people make films about things that they know about.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No.
It's cool when queer people make movies about queer stuff because when straight people do it, it's just usually not that good.
Yep.
And so it's better, you know.
I will give it to last week's writers and directors, though, on Black Mirror.
Yeah, two straight white men made a pretty good, you know.
It's pretty solid.
It's not
that it hasn't been done, it's just very rarely it's done.
And also, I think those opportunities aren't often given to, like, queer filmmakers.
Oh,
so when there is, you know, the times when it does happen, it's cool when it gets supported like this. This movie actually got pretty bad reviews and didn't do very well when it first came out. Yeah, which also isn't shocking, but has definitely gained the cult following over the past 20 years. Definitely from people who I think see it for what it really is. Whereas I think film critics are like crusty 60-year-old white men who they thought that this film was like obtuse and like too nail on the head. They're like,
that's literally the point.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, so you just didn't get it. You're just a fucking idiot.
So it's so on the head that you didn't understand it whatsoever.
Yeah, that it was on purpose. Also, I thought it was crazy. This movie had a $1 million budget.
Oh my god.
That is pennies. That is pennies in the movie world. Like, that is barely anything. And because there are times where I'm like, this movie looks a little, like, low budget. Like, I think they're just filming in somebody's backyard right now, like, type vibes. But, like, what they did with that $1 million, I think is fucking crazy. I think the costuming was awesome. I think the cinematography, set design, the colors. I think they must have really used that 1 million to its maximum potential. Because
they had some great music in it too, which was really interesting because music is costly.
Yes. And actors too. Fucking Michelle Williams was in this for 5 seconds.
Oh my god.
I mean, she was a baby, so I'm sure she wasn't big bucks at this point. But at the beginning, she plays like a friend character in the very beginning of the movie, like 3 lines maybe.
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't say much.
Like a minute of screen time maybe.
Yeah, she takes a picture of a woman out of Natasha Lyonne's locker, and that's it.
And we were like, is that Michelle Williams?
Well, because she could, like, pass as, like, a knockoff, like, half-ass brand Michelle Williams, and it's like, oh, no, that was just Michelle Williams, really like, 20 years ago.
I would like to think that the homophobic friend who turned Natasha Lyonne's character into the gay police, a.k.a. Michelle Williams' character, this is set in the same reality as Brokeback Mountain, so she goes on to marry what she thinks is a straight cowboy, but no, Michelle Williams, you got duped twice.
Jack Twist,
more like Jack Nasty.
Oh yeah.
But so this movie is about gay conversion therapy, which is a very upsetting topic, but weirdly, this movie is a comedy.
Yeah.
And it was made by a queer woman, and I guess her mother was a drug rehab therapist, and so she like was kind of familiar, like saw a lot of like people going through therapy, and then she read an article about how like gay therapy was a thing, or gay conversion therapy, what is it called, like restoration or something like that. Yeah, it's like it's fucked up. But how she read an article about that, and she kind of thought about all the different ways, like different treatment therapies can be applied to different things of what people consider to be wrong. And then she made this film, which is pretty cool. She said she was really inspired by Clueless, and she kind of wanted to just make she's like, I just wanted to make like a gay Clueless.
I think she certainly did that.
Yeah,
definitely achieved that. I really like this movie because it almost, I don't know if it was like this self-aware that it was like, I mean, I don't think it was. It felt like it was almost trying to be a cult classic, Right,
I think it aged beautifully.
Yeah.
Like, I think this movie has aged so well. I think it was really ahead of its time, and I think, like, a lot of the things it's trying to say, again, people in 1999 were probably not really getting, whereas people in the 2010s and now 2020 are like, oh, like, I think it's easier to see what she was going for now, because we have kind of a more accepting worldview, and, like, ideas and things like that are, like, much more prevalent.
It's always weird for me to say, like, things are, like, a cult classic when they're, like, outside of, like, the 80s, and this is closer to 2000s because it's 1999. But then I think about, like, well, Jennifer's Body's kind of become a cult classic in itself, and it's just, like, it's a weird title to put on something, but this one definitely gets that badge. Yeah,
for sure, and I definitely think when you're making a movie, not to say that the LGBT community is a niche community by any means, because it's just like a group of, it's just an identity, but like when you're making a movie that, so like the Venn diagram is a circle, crosses over of, if you have similar experiences, this movie will probably be appealing to you. You know what I mean? Like, if you are a gay person, you probably find something in this movie to be funny or relatable or whatever, so I think you immediately kind of gain that viewership a little bit. Not to say all gay people like this movie, but I think by making something about that specific experience, you definitely gain the insight. I don't know.
People are going to watch something that they can find relatable. That's, I think, just kind of how things work, but maybe that's just me.
Also, fucking gay conversion therapies and, like, camps and stuff are still a thing that's happening. Like, it's fucking nuts, and it's a real fucking issue, and licensed medical professionals in 2021 continue to practice, like, gay conversion therapy, and it's crazy. It's not always a religious thing. Like, a lot of the times I think the examples that get used are, like, ex-gay Christian things. That's what in a lot of religious circles, they make them call themselves ex-gays, which they use that in this movie a lot too.
Yeah.
So it's like you do this whole conversion thing basically so you can conform to society or whatever, but then you're not even allowed to just live your life, your new life or whatever, because you have to brand yourself as an ex-gay.
Yeah,
so,
you're tacked on like a name tag.
Yeah, it's like you can never get rid of it or whatever.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I guess a lot of religious ones are ex-gay, but like honestly, in a lot of just like talk therapy, like licensed therapists and stuff, they do implement a lot of like trying to normalize gender roles and like, you know, stereotypical things to make people act more like quote unquote normal, which it can be something as subtle as that or something as extreme as like sending your child away to a conversion therapy thing. So it's a bad thing that is still happening. The laws need to change, and it's happening slowly, but it's like one step forward, two steps back, you know? So
I will say I'm glad that we watched this movie about conversion therapy rather than like the Miseducation of Cameron Post, or like, what's that? Is that Lucas Hedges one about conversion therapy?
That one is, kind of about like religious. That one is way more about religion. Yeah. Because his dad, Russell Crowe, is a pastor. Yeah. And Nicole Kidman wears a wig. I've seen. You've seen Miseducation of Cameron Post?
Yeah, it's
okay.
decent.
Yeah,
it was kind of boring.
Yeah, and I
didn't love it.
And having seen this one now, I'm not gonna say it's like a knockoff, but it like kind of was doing a lot of the same things, just like less punchy and like less good.
Exactly.
You know? I don't know.
But should we give a recap?
Yeah. I think this movie's pretty. It's an hour and what?
25
minutes,
which is the gorgeous. That is my ideal movie time frame.
Right, especially for like a comedy or something like this. Like I don't need a 40-minute exposition scene about anything.
So pretty much, I just want to start off talking about the opening credits, which is literally just
hard nipples. Sports bras and hard nipples.
Like, it really sets the tone for this movie.
I love those cheerleading outfits though, the orange.
So cute.
Like the colors they picked are everything. The colors in this movie are fucking amazing. And they use a lot of like blue and pink for like boys and girls, obviously, but there are times where everyone's wearing emerald green or everyone's wearing like purple, and oh my god, it's always very like monochromatic. And it's so good. And these cheerleading costumes, I think right off the bat, it's like
You could see it even in there was this scene when they all went to school and everyone was in brown.
Yeah.
And Natasha Lyonne was in like a light yellow type thing, which was like, okay, obviously she's like gonna stand out. She's like the gay one.
Yeah.
But so it opens up and Natasha Lyonne's a cheerleader. She's on the field.
Her name's Megan.
Yeah, Megan. She really loves what she's doing. And you get like 15, maybe not even 15 minutes of her going through like her normal life. But like,
she has a boyfriend.
Yeah, she's got a boyfriend. She's one of the head cheerleaders. She's got 2 loving parents in like a Catholic home, the whole 9 yards. And then you sort of quickly realize that there's a plot underway for
like an intervention.
Yeah,
basically.
For an intervention. You already know Megan's pretty gay because there's this one really long scene of her like hating making out with her boyfriend.
Which,
like,
to be
rolling
fair,
her eyes.
To be fair, it didn't look like good, you know? He was like shoving his tongue down her throat. Like, whether you like boys or not, like that is not the way you kiss another person. But yeah, she's like rolling her eyes and then she's like fantasizing about hard nipples and sports bras and like booty shorts, and then she's like, okay, well, maybe I can get into this now.
So then there's pretty much an intervention and RuPaul shows up.
RuPaul, zero drag RuPaul. Man RuPaul.
Yeah.
And he has like
RuPaul
a goatee.
Exactly.
RuPaul with a fucking goatee shows up and he's like the head of the gay conversion camp, which is fucking hilarious. It's such a joke within a joke of itself. I don't know. He is, what does his shirt say? Like, straight is great or something like that?
Something like that.
Okay, RuPaul Charles.
So, pretty much what happens is there's an intervention. Megan's whisked away to conversion therapy, which is, what's the name of it? True Directions?
Yeah, True Directions.
Yeah. Dara really got me scared for a minute because we were sitting there watching this and she's like, isn't the name of the Glee, like, cast, what is it, their show choir?
Yeah, like their group.
True Directions.
But it's New Directions. After a minute, we realized it was New Directions, but we're like, oh my god, does the Glee group have the same name as, like, the gay conversion camp from this 1999 movie? Like, did anybody cross-reference that? But no, it's New Directions. It feels like
something Ryan Murphy would have done on purpose,
yeah, right.
So, you know what I mean?
That's the... something that's gay but feels homophobic.
Ryan Murphy.
Is he gay? I don't know.
I believe he is, yeah. But so, Megan's at conversion therapy. She meets this whole little cast of queer kids that are also there. And she meets, what's her name? Graham.
Yeah, Graham.
Which also, I want to just say, like... If you're gonna name your, listen, I don't want to offend any girls out there named Graham. If you're named Graham, I think it's a great name. But also, her parents are, like, super pissed that she's a lesbian. I'm like, dude, you named her Graham.
Like, if you name your kid Kyle, he's gonna ride BMX. That's just how it works.
Like, do your research beforehand. Yeah. So Megan's at conversion therapy, kind of going through the steps. She realizes she's a homosexual, cries about it for a while.
Step 1 is that you have to admit that you're a homosexual, which you just have to say it. And I'm like, girl, do you know how to lie? Like, or at least say the truth, but, like, you act, you know? She's acting so, like, upset and confused the whole time, and I'm like, look around you. Graham's got the idea. You just play along, you do the things, and then you graduate from straight school, and then you get to just live your life, you know?
To be fair, though, if I was her, like, going through that and, like, I guess, like, like, having that aha moment in front of everyone, I would also cry. Yeah. It's jarring enough when you just, like, when you
get to slowly realize it by yourself, but they, like, really force that on her.
You put two and two together, and you're like... Shit. Fuck. There might be something here.
The whole thing, though, is that they have this intervention first at her house, and they're like, hey, we all think you're a lesbian, and we're sending you to this gay conversion camp. And she's like, what are you guys talking about? You guys are crazy. I literally have a boyfriend. Like, I'm chilling. I don't know what you mean. I go to
school. I go to church. Wait, I get good grades. I go to church. I'm a cheerleader!
Basically, she's like, I'm so normal. She's like, I'm so normal and I act so straight. Like, what do you mean? And all of her friends are basically like, you hug us a little too long, which I'm like, okay, like, shut the fuck up. But it's like, oh, like, you have pictures of women in your locker. You have vagina-themed art in your room, which is...
My favorite thing was when they brought out the Melissa Etheridge poster. And I was like, and I'm so, you know how later in this movie they have their roots or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just think back, and I'm like, what would be my root? And my root would definitely be listening to Melissa Etheridge with my mom in the car at like 7 years old.
That awoken something.
Singing along to like "Come to My Window." I saw Melissa Etheridge in concert like 2 years ago. It's like, yeah.
Was the lesbian energy unbelievable?
I've never seen so many leather vests in one place. Everyone had a beer in hand. It was outstanding. I felt more connected than I do at a Pride parade.
But basically, though, this Megan character hasn't even really, like, come to terms with her sexuality.
No, she has no idea.
She even says, she's like, oh... One of them, Michelle Williams, says, like, oh, you don't like to kiss your boyfriend. And she was like, well, yeah, like, maybe he's just bad at it. Which is, like, very fair point, Megan. He doesn't look like he's that good at it. And she's like, no, I kind of like it when they shove... Michelle Williams is like, yeah, I like it when they... And I'm like, ew, no, you don't. Like, shut the fuck up. Don't be a liar. But basically, this Megan character has not really, like, considered her own sexuality in any sort of... Her family seems very, like, nuclear family, very stereotypical, gender role-y type. So, you know, maybe she hadn't really thought of it outside of the... Because she is very much about, like, the woman's role in the home. She brings that up a lot, like, at camp when they're talking about, I don't know, like, gender roles and stuff. But basically, when they're like, you have to admit that you're gay, she's like, I don't really think I'm gay. And then they're all like, you're gay, you're gay, you're gay.
And then she has a breakdown.
And then she's like, oh my god, I guess I am.
That's tough. And then she just like that, she's like, well, I guess I'm gay.
Yeah. But then she has to get ungayed.
Yeah. And that's the hard part.
And that's the whole movie, is they go through these steps, and she gets pretty tight with Graham, and then kind of throughout the movie, some of the kids get kicked out of the program or whatever for, like, 2 boys are caught kissing, so they get kicked out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, there's, like, a series of, like, hijinks that go down. Like, one boy isn't good enough at fixing cars.
Yeah, so he's not allowed to graduate.
Yes, it's so stupid.
But pretty much, Megan and Graham sort of fall in love, and they have this whole plan. They got, like, caught,
They sneak out, all of them at one point, and they go to the gay bar across the town because there's these XX gays who had done the program, like, a long time ago and had graduated as now reformed heterosexuals, so ex-gays, but then they, like, were like, no, we're gonna live our truth and we're gonna be gay, and so they're they're husbands, I think, and they have this, like, house kind of near the premises, and they kind of take this van onto the campus, and they, like, sneak all the kids into a gay bar. And what does she call it? She calls it, like a secret underground homo railroad or something, like, so fucking good. But they all go to the gay bar, but then they kind of get caught because fucking Clea DuVall, who's fucking chain smoking the entire movie.
Oh, yeah.
They never are like, oh, cigarettes aren't allowed here. She's smoking inside.
The only time she stops smoking is to kiss Megan. And that's it.
But they find lighters that have matches with the name of the gay bar. What is it called? Cocksuckers. Yeah. If anything, I would have turned that around on what was the headmistress's name? Was her name like Mary or something? Yeah. I would have turned that around and I would have been like, don't you want me to suck cock? Like,
come on.
Shouldn't you be encouraging this, Mary?
Yeah. But pretty much what ends up happening is that Graham and Megan kind of get caught, like, canoodling.
Having gal pal time.
Yes, gal pal time. And so Megan gets kicked out because she kind of refuses to do this final ceremony with Mary's son, and
who, like, is a groundskeeper or something.
But he's, like, aggressively gay.
Yeah, it's, like, implied that he's pretty gay, but, like, she doesn't, like, have him in the program or anything. He's usually just, like, walking around in booty shorts and, like, getting fuck me eyes from RuPaul, you know, which is
that was
just,
probably
like,
one of my favorite parts of the movie.
But, like, I never understood how old he was supposed to be, because I'm like, okay, maybe he's, like, in his 20s or something, but then she's like, oh, you have to do this ceremony, and I'm like, she's fully underage, like, what do you,
I think he was probably in his 20s, I think that, I mean, if you're running a conversion camp, I don't think your morals are really
true.
Tip shape.
This is true.
But so, Megan gets kicked out of the program, and Graham's like, ooh, see, I would, but I'm not.
Because there was this whole thing earlier where their families all came, and Graham's family was, like, her dad specifically. I guess it was implied that her mom was maybe a lesbian and had left their family or something. Like, so she has, like, a stepmom or whatever.
My mom got married in pants.
That's my root. But I guess the dad was like, I won't pay for your college, I won't give you a car, and you won't get the family fortune unless you graduate from this, like, straight school or whatever. Which is kind of like, okay.
Yeah. But to wrap it up, anyways, Megan kind of, like, goes to the ex-gay's house, and she's, like, taking shelter there, and she devises this plan with, I can't think of it, I can't think of his actual name,
Dolfo?
Yeah, Dolph. Who got kicked out, and they go to the graduation ceremony and kind of, like, rescue their lovers.
Yeah,
sort of.
So Dolph and this other boy, the one who said that he worked retail, they all do, like, a little blurb about themselves or whatever when they're all being introduced. I just thought it was so funny. One of them was like, whatever, like, hi, my name's Brian, I work retail, and I'm a homosexual. I'm like, what the fuck? But him and Dolph, so Dolph was fucking played by God and King Dante Basco.
You love this man.
I love this man. He plays Rufio in the movie Hook, who's, like, the head of the Lost Boys. Yep. He's the one with, like, the big red mohawk, sort of, and most importantly, he is the voice of Prince Zuko. And while watching this movie or anything he's in, if you just close your eyes, it's just there. Yeah. It's just, you're Zuko. Like, it just sounds just like him.
Well, it
is him. It is him. But it's not like he does, like, a Zuko voice or anything. Yeah. Like, that's just his voice. Yeah. Which is amazing. But so he plays Dolph, who is, like, a wrestler or something. Yeah. And so he kind of got kicked out of the camp, but then when Megan goes to the XX gay's house, she finds him there, and he's, like, in all rainbow. He's like in a rainbow jumpsuit.
It looks like
a prison uniform, but
yeah, but it looks like something they sell at like the Target Pride collection.
This is so ugly. It's like has the F slur on it, and they're like they're gonna love this. But so Megan finds him there, and they kind of link up, and they're like, let's crash the graduation and get our lovers. So, and his retail boy is all about it. Like, from the get-go, he's like,
I'm out. Let's go.
And Clea DuVall's like,
no, I can't.
Bro, like, I gotta graduate.
But then she, like, rethinks it and, like...
Well, because Natasha Lyonne shows up with her pom-poms.
Which I would also risk it all for Natasha Lyonne in her little cheerleading outfit and pom-poms.
Yeah, she changes back into the cheer outfit. She does, like, a 1, 2, 3, 4... run away with me and let's be
you're
gay.
the one that I adore, or some shit like that.
And then Clea DuVall's like, fine, like, you convinced me. And then they run away and they ride off in a truck together. And that's the end of the movie. It was really good. I had never seen this one before, and I really enjoyed it. I'm a big Natasha Lyonne fan. I know that the woman who wrote and directed this also did a bunch of episodes of Russian Doll, which I was a huge fan of.
Love that.
So I had good vibes going in.
I do have to say that this is not my favorite lesbian character that Natasha Lyonne plays, because I do love Nikki Nichols in Orange is the New Black.
It makes me, like, her character in Russian Doll could essentially just be Nikki Nichols.
Yeah. Like, in an alternate universe,
but, like, she's
almost.
just straight in Russian Doll, weirdly. And I'm just like, okay, you, like, have mommy issues, you have substance abuse problems. Like, just... if you just fuck women here, too, it's just the same character. Her hair is amazing, though. She just has, like, the best... but yeah, her Orange is the New Black. Two weeks in a row now we're talking about Orange is the New Black. That is a very, like, lesbian-centric piece of media. Yeah. So I think it's only natural. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Natasha Lyonne is so good. I think she's so good in this, too, because she like... even as, how old was she in this, probably? Like, she's pretty young. She still sounds like she smokes 6 packs a day. Her voice just has that, like, smoker quality.
Yeah.
That always, like, that rasp, and I'm like, it just doesn't match your appearance here, where she, like, is wearing, like, headbands and, like, schoolgirl skirts.
Yeah, she was probably about our age when she did this, because it was, 1999, and she's 42 now, so...
Yeah.
She'd be, like...
Yeah, like, in her early 20s.
Early 20s. She's only 5'3". I just read that on this.
Yeah,
She doesn't look 5'3". No,
I believe that.
Like, I'm 5'3", you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like I would be, like, at eye level with Natasha Lyonne, you know what I mean?
No, I can see it. I think it's just because she's got big hair. You know?
That adds, like, 3 inches.
Yeah.
At the very least.
She's really good in this. I know that even when, it got a lot of criticism, a lot of critics still were like, no, the acting, but a lot of the critics were still praising the acting performances. Okay, so we just realized that there's been a dehumidifier rattling and rumbling behind us for quite some time. So if you hear a sudden ambiance switch, it's because I cut out a lengthy conversation between the two of us saying, has that thing been on the whole time? Yes, should we turn it off? And then I was like, well, maybe we should maintain the ambiance. But then I figured that you guys would be more appreciative to not have the rumbling. So if you're kind of jarred by that, I know sometimes when I'm listening to podcasts and stuff like that happens, like if they switch recording locations or something
changed, but I don't know what changed.
Yeah, so I'm just letting you know, because I would be appreciative of an explanation that that's what changed. There's no more dehumidifying. We're getting real humid now.
Yeah, I've got a wet basement. What do you...
See, you have a wet basement, I have a dry basement.
Yeah, no, our basement, sometimes we'll have, it's definitely wet because sometimes I'll find salamanders will crawl in here. But the thing about salamanders is that if they're not wet, they just dry up and die. Like, they're not under, like, a wet stone.
Oh my goodness.
And this is, the basement's wet, but it's not that wet, so I'll just find, some salamanders.
Some dried up, shriveled up salamanders.
Yeah.
You should give them to me, I'll make earrings. Or I'll, like, cast them in resin, and, like, I don't know. That could be a fun project.
Yeah, I'll let you know next time I find it.
It'll be like something you would buy at the museum gift store.
Yeah. The lesbians will buy the dried up salamanders.
Well, yeah. Whereas, like, a unique statement jewelry piece. I get it. I understand you. I love the costumes in this movie. Everything to me looks like a Polly Pocket dress.
You want to chew on it?
Yeah, well, but everything looks like vaguely kind of plasticky.
Oh, yeah.
And like very like pressed and like, I don't know, so put together.
I wonder if that was just because the costume budget was so small.
That they were like, we have to use literal tablecloth. Like,
like, work with what you got and this is what we've got. Please do something good.
It was so good though. Natasha Lyonne's character she like has like a big headband and like a kind of a big poof, and sometimes she's wearing a little hair clip, and on the hair clip is a tiny little hairbrush. It looks like
I loved that.
Yeah, and I was just like, that was so like 90s, but like I was just looking at it and I was like, is that a little tiny like Barbie hairbrush like in her fucking hair? It was just so good. I loved all the different like cast of characters in this movie. Like there's one kind of like punk girl, and then Clea DuVall's character was also kind of goth. I'd say she's more punk. The other girl was like gothy.
Yeah, super goth.
Kind of.
I love her intro was like, hi, I'm whatever my name is, and I love pain.
Well, at first, so they have these little, like, shock devices that they give them all for when they're in bed, and basically they're like, if you're about to masturbate, you should harm yourself, which is like fucked up. But then I remember she was like, I love pain, but then she like furiously zapping herself, and I was like, okay, maybe like you're a little too into it, like this is weird. But then later it's like, oh, they're using them to masturbate because when you shock yourself it like buzzes a little bit, right? Was that the implication? Am I right there?
I think you're right.
Because at first I'm like, is this
it's like
girl?
the right idea, or she's just getting off like that much to like actual pain.
That's, I mean, maybe she should be going to therapy for that.
Their own.
But like, yeah, like electroshock therapy. I don't know. Also, like, one of them is just randomly Australian. And it's never explained or brought up.
Yeah, like, I was listening to, because when she was first introduced, I was kind of like, I don't know if she's Australian or not. I think there's something there or whatever. Then by the end, I was like, yeah, she's fully Australian. What? Why?
Yeah.
But, I mean...
And then there was also...
just a weird little detail.
There was also a character that was very intriguing, Jan. So Jan has, like, a mohawk and kind of has, like, a little bit of, like, facial hair or whatever. And at first, I was, like, unsure if they were in the, like, the male group or the female group because they had them, like, divided or whatever. But so she was... In the movie, she was a girl, and she was like, oh, I play softball, whatever. But then later in the movie, she's like, I shouldn't be here. She's like, I'm a heterosexual. I like boys. I've always liked boys. People just think I'm gay because I like sports and I'm not pretty. I'm not like conventionally attractive. And I, gender expression versus gender identity versus sexuality, which this is why I think this movie was really ahead of its time because it kind of did that whole like your personality and your interests, and that always doesn't have to match up with your expression or your identity or whatever like that, because that's Natasha Lyonne's whole thing is she's like, I'm a cheerleader, I can't be gay, I do the straightest thing ever, which is cheerleading. But it's like, no, like, just because
she's that pretty girl in high school,
just because you do something that is conventionally like branded as being like a quote-unquote straight activity or a gay activity, like, okay, not every girl who plays softball is gay. Like, it's just, like, maybe it's more true than other things, but it's just, like, I don't know, stereotypes. But I thought that this was good that they kind of debunked that, like, she was the one in the group who, like, actually wasn't, and she was like, oh, it's just something that everyone, like, puts on me, you know? And that's, definitely the whole, like, gendered, all of the girls wear pink and all of the boys wear blue. And that's where I think a lot of the critics were like, oh, this is too, like... On the nose or whatever, is, like, going into play. I think that's what they, like, didn't like about it, I guess. Like, that's just the most apparent thing to me, but I'm like, no, it's supposed to be representing people who think that way, so that's you, you know?
Exactly.
I don't know. And it's so visually, the aesthetics, though.
I love it. I think that's what, to me, really stuck out the most, was the set design and the costume design and how it all blended together. Like, if they're all dressed in pink in a pink room, and... It's so monochromatic. It was so, like, I don't know, it was, like, giving me, like, 60s almost. Like, almost the way they were dressing. But, like, not with, like, the fun patterns or anything like that. It was very... It was kind of plain in, like, a really... standout way.
Oh my god, can we talk about, though, like, some of the late 90s fashion, fucking low-rise jeans? Bro.
I looked at you in the middle of this one because there's this one scene where they're all like out at the
bar,
gay bar
yeah.
or whatever.
And Clea DuVall's jeans are so low.
Yeah.
Her pussy lips are about to crawl out. And I was just looking, I was like, oh my god, my fupa would be like fully covering the front of the pant.
I couldn't do it.
I'm so appreciative that the high-waisted jean is in style.
Have you ever met someone that's like, yeah, I really want low-rise jeans to come back? Because I've met like one or two people that are like, yeah, I really wish I was like in on the low-rise jeans craze, and I was like, could not be me. I want to be Harry Styles, wearing like the
Urkel. I want to look like Urkel.
Yeah, like with my fucking trousers up to my tits.
Right, I want my pants to touch the underside of my bra.
Exactly.
If a pair of pants doesn't cover at least my belly button, it's immediately a no.
Exactly, right?
I'm like, I need it to go all the way up.
Yeah.
I've only seen people like that on Twitter, basically being like low-rise jeans, and I'm like, okay, we get it.
You're skinny.
You have 0% body fat.
Yeah.
Okay, Megan Fox.
Yeah, like you don't have to tell me. Trust me.
But also, like, okay, wear low-rise jeans then. Just
exactly. Just
we get it. You're better than me.
If you can wear low-rise jeans and you want to wear low-rise jeans, no one's stopping you.
But also, if you're hashtag high-rise or high-waisted, I guess.
Yeah.
If you're high-waisted jeans gang, I'm here for you. I see you. I respect you, and I am with you. But also, oh my gosh, can we talk about Clea DuVall's hair in the very final scene, in the graduation scene? She's got like all the little butterfly clips. She's got like the butterfly clips like spiking up her whole hair situation. Oh my god. That was everything. I love like the like Lizzie McGuire era hairstyles where you just like put every bobby pin you can find in your hair.
Anything with an ounce of color, it's there.
But also like I feel like Clea DuVall's character, like her hair just looked wet the whole movie.
Just greasy as
just
hell.
Looked like I'm like
she was going through like Leonardo DiCaprio in like the 90s, but
but it was just like straight grease.
Yeah. She hit more on like what's his name? Christian Slater.
I don't know if this is controversial, but are you attracted to his character in Heathers?
No, because he was so
yeah. I don't know. I
like
feel like
I'd risk it all for Winona Ryder any day.
Yeah, true.
But
no, I feel you there. I feel like there are like, I don't know, girls on the internet who are like, whatever that character's name, and Heathers is hot, and I'm like, no, he's scary. Have
you seen like the people that like romanticize Ted Bundy and shit like that? Or like I forget his full name, but like Richard Ramirez or some shit like that?
Yeah, girls who are like obsessed.
God. Yeah.
Oh my god, get a personality.
Like, wow.
Or get a better personality.
So glad you're obsessed with serial killers, yeah.
There's a healthy way to be obsessed with serial killers, but not in a way in which you, like, want to fuck them.
Yeah. Trust me, I get it. I watched Mindhunter. It's a really good show. It's an interesting topic. But do I want to fuck Ted Bundy? No! Anyway.
But I do want to fuck
Natasha Lyonne?
Yeah, that's true. And Zac Efron.
As Ted
Bundy.
Fair. That's fair.
No, not even. His portrayal of Ted Bundy was a little scary. Yeah. Scary in a not good way.
Just say that Zac Efron's hot.
He is.
Yeah.
Have you seen those things recently about like people wondering if he got jaw surgery?
Yeah, I saw it.
I don't know.
It's just not my business. I don't really care.
That's true. I just think about those videos on Instagram of guys who like chew on rubber balls to build up their jaw muscles. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe he's just been chewing on some rubber balls. Like, maybe he's just on that grind. Because sometimes I'm like, I have a really weak chin, a very round baby face. So I'm like, if I just, like, chew on, like, a really large rubber ball every day, am I gonna get snatched?
I could be tempted. I don't think that's how it works, though. I think it's all a scam, unfortunately. But
just sell more rubber balls. Yeah.
I wonder how many people have actually bought that, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Just go to the Dick's Sporting Goods and get like a field hockey ball. Just gnaw on it. I bet dentists are outraged.
I bet they're probably loving it. Orthodontists are like endorsing it. They're like, yeah, you should definitely do this.
But like secretly.
Yeah, exactly. So they can just profit off of it later. Be like, yeah, your jaw's fucked. I need to break it and then rewire it closed. and then I have you for 5 years reconstructing your teeth.
Okay, so, Jen wrote out a chocolate or vanilla for this week, but she made it all RuPaul's Drag Race themed, and, this uncultured swine here has... I get it. It's a time investment, but so I'm gonna...
that's my whole issue. Is it... Okay.
No, these are very specific. You are not going to be able to answer.
Can I
any
just,
of them.
off of names, off of whose name I like better?
Sure.
Okay. I'm totally uninformed here.
Okay. But so, yeah, I figured I would just rip through them. Anyone out there who's a RuPaul Drag Race fan...
I feel so bad. It's something I've meant to get to, like, for so long.
Yeah, it can be kind of an intimidating culture because it's so, like, the fans are crazy about it, you know what I mean? So you're like, you feel like you're either in or you're out.
I'm just not much for
reality TV.
Yeah, I feel like we've talked about
such my guilty pleasure.
I wish. There's a couple of things, but
for anyone out there who is going to question me, I'm a RuPaul's Drag Race stan through and through. I have seen every season, all the All-Stars, most of the international ones. You know, for the most part.
Here, I'll read it for you.
So yeah,
you tell me chocolate or vanilla.
Right. So to start off, chocolate or vanilla, my answer will always be chocolate.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, Carson Kressley or Ross Matthews?
I guess I'll go with Carson. They're both judges. They're both pretty regular judges on RuPaul. Carson Kressley used to be in the original Queer Eye for the Straight Guy Fab Five. Him, and then Ted from Chopped.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Ted from Chopped was in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm quickly realizing that I don't think I can do this because I'm not sure.
Jen's handwriting is, like, tough.
Like, I can read my mom's handwriting because I've read my mom's handwriting for the last 20 years, but... Also, I just don't know these names.
Okay, so she says, Asia O'Hara's Dead Butterflies or Valentina's Leave My Mask On. Somebody tried to do a reveal during a lip sync where their boobs detached like big cocoons.
Yeah.
And their plan was to have live butterflies in it, but the stage was so hot that when they took them off, all the butterflies were dead and fell to the ground.
Oh,
and so just dead butterflies.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was really bad. And then Valentina's Can I Leave My Mask On? Her runway, she had kind of a face mask, sort of corona face mask type thing, obviously pre-pandemic. Yeah. And so she didn't think she would be in the bottom, so she didn't learn the words to the lip sync. And then when the lip sync started, she just left the mask on, and RuPaul was like, stop, you can't lip sync with a fucking face covering on. She was like, I'd like to leave it on. And RuPaul was like, you're a joke. But I gotta go with the Dead Butterflies.
Yeah, not even having seen that sounds...
Okay, then these are just contestants. Alyssa Edwards or Ben de la Creme. That's really hard. Gotta go with Alyssa Edwards, though. Aquaria or Adore Delano. I'm an Adore stan through and through. Gonna say Adore. I love Aquaria, too, though. Jen with this CNORA infinity sign. Crowns? I don't know. Crudes? Chodes? Chodes? Something, or Not Today Satan, so I'm gonna go with Not Today Satan because I literally don't know what the other one says. Shangela or Katya, always Katya, duh. And then she says Katya or Trixie to the side, but then she crossed it off because I don't think she wanted to pose that question, but I would still say Katya. Drag Race Canada or Drag Race UK. I really love both, but season 2 of Drag Race UK was one of the best Drag Race seasons in a really long time, so I'll go with UK because we love Bimini Bon Boulash in this house. Bob and Monet's podcast or Trixie and Katya's podcast, which is really tough.
Yeah, even I know that's tough. I've seen, obviously Katya and Trixie's forever, like, popping up on Twitter and clips, but I've seen a lot of Bob and Monet. There's just called Sibling Rivalry. I've seen a lot about them, like their clips on TikTok. And it's really funny. Theirs is so good. I might have to go with theirs. I listen to a lot of Drag Race. Willem and Alaska have a really good one where I like the ones where they do like the recaps of the episodes and stuff because you kind of get the inside. I love Trixie and Katya's. And I love, but I'll have to go with Bob and Monet's because I just think they have, like, that good back and forth. And I think they disagree with each other a lot, so it kind of incites a lot of conversation, whereas, like, I feel like you and I rarely disagree. Well, we're always on the same page, so, like, we gotta fight more, I think. Yeah.
We gotta, like, disagree more. I don't know.
Do you guys want discourse on this podcast?
I'll have to come up with something spicy. I don't know.
Jen will have to pose, like, some really hard-hitting chocolate and vanilla
Ooh,
questions.
she says shaving the eyebrows or glue sticking the eyebrows. I respect queens who shave their eyebrows down to nothing, because that is
really
commitment.
dedicated. Yeah.
It's commitment. But I do love a glue eyebrow, because I love a queen with a dramatic transformation. They look really different in and out of drag, and I definitely think, like, having eyebrows. But I gotta go with shaving it, because that's a commitment. Sashay away or Shantae you stay. Okay, Jen. I'll say fucking sashay away, bitch. I love a double elimination. Kick them both out. Anyways, RuPaul was in this movie and played
the frack king.
Oh my god, Rand Paul, the frack king. For anyone who doesn't know, I mean, you can find better information about this elsewhere, but RuPaul...
He has, like, a fracking empire,
RuPaul basically owns a fracking ranch. Him and his husband have, like, this crazy amount of acres of land in Wyoming, I think it is, and they frack for oil there, and that's where RuPaul gets all of his fucking money, because he fracks, and oil fracking is fucking bad. RuPaul is also a little bit transphobic and has been pretty problematic and questionable in the past, and often tries to cover up his, I don't know, like, shitty things he said by just, like, I don't know, by being an icon. I don't really know. It's like, it's annoying.
I feel like he feels like someone that tries to use, like, a lot of humor to, like, disguise how fucked he is, but also doesn't he have people, like, write his lines or whatever?
Oh.
Like, I watched, like 3 episodes of Drag Race one time with you, and that was, like, the one thing that I remember you telling me.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. RuPaul, for many years, won the Emmy for, like, best host or whatever, and RuPaul gets all of his lines fed to him in an earpiece. Like, at all times. Like, even the most basic ones. I'm like, you can't remember to say, like, this is RuPaul's Drag Race. You know, I don't know. Anyways. I think the casting for this movie was good.
Spot on, yeah.
I liked the synergy of the group. I don't know, I thought they all kind of, like, played off of each other well. I believed the chemistry between Natasha and Clea DuVall. Yeah. Also, I'll see them, like, interacting on Twitter, like, every now and then, and it just really warms my heart. I'm like, that they're like friends and stuff. And I think they both like have a lot of fondness for this movie. Like, I think, like, they, like, I don't know, regard it as, like a very important part of their careers, which is cool. That they didn't just kind of, because they both obviously have gone on to do kind of other things, especially Natasha Lyonne, like, bigger things, more popular things. So it's cool that she hasn't just kind of brushed this behind her as, like, oh yeah, that cult following movie I did in the 90s, like, whatever. Like, I think she's still, she stays humble, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. One of my favorite things that, our intern Jen fed us was that, Natasha Lyonne, like, the day before they started filming,
oh my gosh,
got drunk, went out and got a shoulder tattoo.
And the director was pissed because she's supposed to be, like, this, like, good Christian girl, so basically they had to spend extra time every day covering up her brand new tattoo with makeup. Because she's like, Jesus, like, you could have fucking waited.
That seems like a very on-brand thing for Natasha Lyonne, though, so
but
I really
also,
love
Clea
that.
DuVall's character, like, had a bunch of tattoos as well.
Yeah.
And I don't think those were, like, I don't think she actually has those tattoos. I think they were, there was, like, a huge Chinese character symbol, like, on her neck. Like, I don't think she has that from my memory. But I'm like, aren't they supposed to be 17 in this? You're telling me her parents signed a waiver letting her get a Chinese character tattoo?
It was the 90s.
But they're like, she can't be gay, but she can get a culturally inappropriate tattoo. Okay.
I wouldn't put it past her parents.
Yeah. They seem kind of fucked.
They're like, you can get the tattoo, but we we draw the line at being gay. What would you eat and drink for this? Because, honestly, I was really pleased with my drink for this film.
Oh, yeah. So Emily, like, whipped up this cocktail out of nowhere. Basically, our failed cocktail from last time had, what's it called? Midori?
Midori.
And Midori in it. So you tried to redeem yourself, which I think you did. And basically, it just tastes like blue raspberry. Like, blue. It tastes the way blue. And it's vaguely the color of, like, a Baja Blast. It was a really nice teal color. Yeah. I just made myself, like, a vodka cran because I'm boring. But describe your drink. It was really great.
I'm trying to stay on the fruity wave this month. Maybe next week I'll have a beer.
Like a double IPA.
I can't do that. Just, dude, like, that's one thing that'll get my heartburn just through the roof. I'll do a sour beer. But what I had today, I don't even know where I found it. I was just looking up different Midori drinks that I can make. I was really in a pinch. But it's called a lemon drop mermaid cocktail. I don't fucking know. It's off of yumly.com. But it's, and here's the fuck thing too, is because the way you make it is like, it serves 4. So it's like a big pitcher or something.
Oh, so you had to divide everything by 4? You had to do math?
I roughly scaled it down.
That's homophobic.
No.
You had to do math to make yourself a drink?
Can't believe
Jesus.
it. But it's like, so I did like a shot of vodka, a shot of Midori, like half of a shot of blue curacao, like a big fat fucking squeeze of lemon juice, and then like half an ounce of simple syrup. But then, because that's like a tiny drink, like that's like something you put in like a martini glass.
Yeah, that
like
filled up like, I would say like a third of your cup, maybe.
But so I'm gonna endorse them. We're not sponsored.
If Polar's local in New England and other parts of the country, I think it's pretty hard to get Polar Seltzer, but it's like an entire aisle of the grocery store here.
It's all I ever want.
And we live pretty close to like the manufacturing plant. It's in Worcester, so we have like big Polar Seltzer, especially in Massachusetts. But I know people who leave New England and go other places are like, why the fuck can't I find the Polar Seltzer?
But the Polar has these things, they're like seltzer aids. So it's pretty much seltzer, but it's like a little juicier than like,
but it's
just
still,
like,
it's 0 calories, it's 0 sugar, it's still just seltzer, but it's kind of, I don't know, more citrusy, I guess, because I really like the cherry
it's got
one.
a little more flavor. But so I topped off my drink with the watermelon lemonade Polar Seltzer.
Which I definitely commend you, that definitely pairs perfect with the Midori. I think the blue curacao plus the green Midori made that lovely teal color.
It's really cute.
And then you added the Polar. So yeah, the Polar Seltzer aids, I will say that is my cocktail hack. Is that if you do like any sort of liqueur of your choice, flavoring, a clear hard liquor like vodka or rum, and then one of these seltzer aids, so drinkable. Yeah. So
well, you
good.
have like something of a signature one that like you showed me. It's like what the blueberry seltzer aid.
The cherry one. The cherry seltzer aid with Chambord, my signature, and vodka, and then also a shit ton of lime juice because that's just I put that in everything.
It literally tastes like candy.
It tastes like it tastes like juice. Like it's so good. And it's I'm not gonna say it's low calorie because it's still pretty high sugar from the vodka and the Chambord. Yeah,
but it's not like a Smirnoff Ice or something like
it's
that.
a lot better for you than most like drinks that taste that good, I would say.
Exactly. So honestly, I would recommend whatever this is called, lemon drop mermaid
lemon
cocktail.
Drop mermaid.
Or just do something with a seltzer and some liqueur and some vodka.
Whatever you feel. I would say also, again, I feel like we just keep talking about like the color blocking of this movie, but if you did maybe like some sort of like something with blue curacao for the blue and then something kind of pink, I don't know, like grenadine or something. That's more red, but I don't know if you did like a blue shot and then a pink shot or something. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of lame, but I just feel like the colors are so good. You need a colorful drink. I really liked you. Kind of matched the aesthetic. You had your nice like Baja Blast. You had your nice like Baja Blast looking, and your straw kind of matches too. Your straw is like a bluish green. But yeah, I had a vodka cran and it was fine.
It was a vodka cran.
Yeah, it was really fine.
And the only thing that I could think to say with this movie...
They drink beer in this movie once, which I'm like, okay, no, not the vibe.
My food pairing, because I was trying to think of anything they eat in this film, and the only thing that really stuck out to me is that Clea DuVall, everyone has their own meals, and then Clea DuVall's just eating sushi.
Yeah.
Which
somebody makes a joke. Somebody makes a joke like, oh, that's the only fish she can eat here, which I'm like, okay, maybe that didn't age well, but, or maybe it was on purpose. I don't really know. But like, whatever. But yeah, sushi. Sushi would be great.
I think sushi would be good. Or if you don't like sushi, just don't eat anything and smoke a cigarette.
Yeah. Yeah,
Clea DuVall.
So chain smoke inside.
Yeah,
have cigs inside. For this whole movie. Also, Natasha Lyonne's character is a vegetarian, and they use that as one of the proof points as to why she must be gay.
Yeah, they pull out tofu.
Yeah, she's like, I can't be gay. I like boys. And they're like, bitch, you eat tofu. Like, you gotta be gay. So, I don't know. Maybe like a nice vegetarian. If you have any sort of like local vegan or vegetarian restaurant, I don't know, maybe get something from them. Maybe a nice little tofu stir fry. I don't really know.
That'd be really cute.
Yeah.
I like that. I don't feel inclined to do fuck, marry, kill because this entire thing is like...
they're all in high school or like implied to be underage for the most part. And basically, you've got like Megan's parents, maybe Graham's parents, the fuckos who run the... I just want to kill everyone.
See, here's the thing, is that I think we can just both agree that in the present day, we would fuck Natasha Lyonne and just leave it at that.
Yeah. Or Clea DuVall. Hey, if you
also true.
Hey, if you want to be on the podcast, RuPaul, Natasha Lyonne, Clea DuVall, Dante Basco. I am begging you, if you'd like to come do the Zuko voice on the podcast, I might have to leave the room, but we would appreciate it all the same. Even you don't have to come to us on a Zoom call. Please, I'm begging you.
If RuPaul was on this podcast, I think we would just interrogate him about his fracking.
No, he's gotten that enough. Honestly, I don't think RuPaul is capable of having a conversation. Yeah, he's a robot. He's
the same people that like manufactured Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, right.
RuPaul was like the second go around, so he's like a little better. What would you follow this up with?
Oh, that's really hard. I think we've already kind of established. I mean, I think we've already watched and covered Jennifer's Body, but I think you brought it up before, and I think that's such another good like early 2000s kind of queer cult following of a movie that didn't really get great coverage during its time because people were not really taking it for what it was meant to be. You know, I think that's definitely like same vibe for sure. Also, you could just watch Russian Doll. It's a pretty quick show. Yeah, episodes really are like 20 minutes or something, and it's definitely recommend watching. A quick binge for sure.
Yeah. I personally, and this passed through our minds when we thought about what we were going to do this month, but we figured we'd save it for Halloween. But I think you go with the ultimate cult classic and you watch Rocky Horror.
Hell yeah.
Just because it's also incredibly gay and it is like
a romp and a half.
Exactly. Like same sort of, obviously it's sort of way bigger of like sets sort of in every way, shape and form.
Well, yeah. You can't compare But I'm a Cheerleader to Rocky Horror, but I think you can put them in that same category of like queer cult classics that are a good time. Yeah. In different ways, but in a way that definitely could be a nice little back-to-back. I totally am here for that. Have you, I mean, we together one year went to, if any of you out there have ever been to a Rocky Horror at a movie theater or at a theater on Halloween, it's so fucking fun. There are all these rules, I guess, and you like bring bread and rice and you like throw them and stuff.
I don't remember a damn thing from that night.
I remember you started eating the toast and we're like, Emily, somebody brought that like in their bag.
I needed it. All I remember is that I had the time of my life. And then my dad picked me up.
I'm trying to think of like a good, like another like early 2000s kind of like movie that has, I guess, not that Clueless is from the early 2000s, 90s. I guess maybe Clueless 2 would be.
I mean, it'd be good if you're trying to, like, if that was the director's intention was kind of like, to make a gay Clueless.
Yeah, and like just like high school kind of quippy dialogue, aesthetically pleasing, nice costumes, Paul Rudd.
I'll let you know a secret is that I haven't seen Clueless.
My mom made me watch it when I was... So this is the truth with a handful of movies for some weird reason. And Jen's gonna, after she listens to this, she's gonna come to me and say, Dara, that's not true, but I'm going to pull up the receipts because it is. Multiple times when I have been very, very ill, Jen has just put on a movie that she wants me to watch, and I'm already in such a fucking bad mood because I, like, have strep throat or something like that. I think I might have, like, gotten my tonsils out or something. Yeah. And so she was like, yeah, you have to watch this movie Clueless. And I was like, had 103 fever, and I was, like, sweating and throwing up. So my fondness for the movie Clueless is obviously zero. And she's like, Dara, she's like, you don't like it? And I'm like, you know, I'm throwing up. And this has happened with a couple of different movies that she'll, like, show them to me for the very first time. She'll be like, this one's really good. And I'm like, yeah, just had surgery, like something like that.
You told me about, like, another movie that she did this with.
I think I brought this up. It was The Accountant. She made me watch the movie The Accountant, like, when I was really sick. And I barely remember it, and I just remember feeling like shit. And I was like, I can't enjoy a film right now. I can't enjoy a movie for the first time. Yeah. Yeah, this is making me feel worse. If anyone else there can relate to my Prince Zuko feelings from childhood and into adulthood a little bit.
Yeah, what was that like when they finally put Avatar on Netflix?
Oh, I've always owned. I've always owned it. Come on, I'm not a newbie.
Yeah, I am that newbie.
Maybe. But... Oh, okay. I would say follow this up maybe with Hook with Dante Basco.
That would be fun.
That's
just a fun movie.
And or just Avatar. If you want to watch Education of Cameron Post, I think that would be a pretty good, like, compare and contrast.
Yeah,
if you want to watch,
not quite as fun.
If you want to watch two movies with, like, almost the exact same plot line, overarching theme, basically, I think that would be good if you wanted to, like, write a critical essay. If you're really smart and you wanted to write, like, a specifically, like, movies about young lesbian women going to gay conversion camps, you have those two movies to work with, basically, to my knowledge. So that could be a good...
Yeah, there's another one, like, I was telling you this earlier, Brokeback Mountain. There's this newer movie called God's Own Country. It's outstanding with Josh O'Connor. But it's pretty much just feels like Brokeback Mountain too. They're both, like, herding sheep up in the mountains. Two men alone. Raw dogging it.
Nothing but beans and whiskey.
But I feel like there's definitely a couple of those instances in, like, queer cinema where you're like, wow, you're kind of holding up a mirror to this way older film. But usually it's still a pretty good outcome. I really hate when films kind of rip off other ones. And I'm not saying that these are ripping them off, but...
Like, trying to revamp an older idea or whatever. Yeah. I feel that. I would say the gayest thing that happens in this movie is that at the gay club, everyone is slow dancing to EDM music. All the lesbians are like, hey, do you want to come dance with me? And then they, like, tenderly hold each other and, like, stroke each other's hair. Yeah. And I'm like, there's literally Skrillex in the background playing right now. Like, what the fuck?
No, you're so right. That was so on brand. Oh my god, yeah, Natasha Lyonne gets upset when Clea DuVall is dancing with this other girl for 3 minutes and storms out.
The other girl,
this is the gayest scene.
She, like, puts her hands in Clea DuVall's, like, back pockets, basically.
And Natasha Lyonne has a fit.
And she is like, absolutely, I will not stand for any of this.
Yeah, the disrespect in my house.
But up until that point, she's like, sex is immoral and bad, and I love God and Jesus, and if anybody tries to tell me otherwise, I will lose my mind. And then she's like, excuse me, you danced with somebody except for me?
Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. And they just make out, like, on top of a dumpster. Yeah.
Again, that's a show on brand. Clea DuVall stops smoking her cigarette for a literal second to lean in for a big kiss.
They're, like, taking puffs throughout, like, their makeout.
She's
like, sorry, can we just stop for, like, blow smoke and
Ew. But anyways, Emily, this is your graduation from conversion camp, and you have to wear the Adam and Eve bodysuits and we're gonna bump fronts. We're gonna pretend to have sex in front of your mom, who also runs this gay conversion camp. And yeah, that part was so weird. They like made them do this simulation, which was like dress up like Adam and Eve and pretend to fuck.
I just couldn't stop thinking about what that day on set must have been like.
So fun.
Getting in the skin tight bodysuit.
I hope they all did drugs before. I hope they're all like, let's get fucked. Like.
It reminded me about a lot of there's that one, it's not even a scene, there's like this snippet in Fleabag where Claire it's like, yeah, every month Claire reinvents herself or whatever, and she comes in a bright latex suit.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I'd rather not get into a latex suit. I'm not there right now.
Really, I don't think those suits were latex. I think they were just like morph suits, like bodysuits.
I still don't want to wear a morph suit. Have you ever worn a morph suit?
Yeah, they're hot. They're sweaty. Like your body gets sweaty. Well, yeah, because it's like not very breathable fabric, and you're covered from head to toe.
That feels like the one thing that it needs to be.
Yeah, it's breathable. Also, you usually have something over your face as well.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I would get in head to toe latex, at least once, just to. I think I would like to like rub my body against different textured surfaces to see what noise it would make. Like I would love to roll around on a linoleum floor.
Oh my god!
In full latex, like I bet that sounds great. Or like in a bathtub, squeaking around. I just think it would be nice.
Well, let me know how that goes.
Nah, bro, latex is expensive. Like,
I believe that.
Well, so knockoff latex is PVC, and that's like more plasticky. But actual latex, like a latex bra, is like $300.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's really expensive to get it like custom made and stuff. Anyways, not that I've looked into it. I just. Well, not that I've looked into getting a head to toe latex morph suit so I can roll around in the bathtub.
Well, if Adam and Eve or any of those sort of brands wants to sponsor us,
oh my god,
we can make Dara's dreams come true.
If Adam and Eve wants to come out with a self electrocution masturbation device, I don't really know if I would advertise that on this podcast necessarily, but for the right price, I'm willing to negotiate.
That could be such a cool line of like sex toys, just like based on movies or something like that.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, this one would have to be
something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, there's a pretty interesting thing is that originally they rated this movie NC-17. The director was like, it's basically a G movie, like PG at most. And she was like, what? And they're like, there were a couple lines, I guess, about like women giving each other head, basically. And they were like, you can't say that. So she cut those out and then they brought it down. But none of the lines about like blowjobs or anything had to get taken out, or any of the like jerking off the broom to look like nothing like that had to get cut out. And basically she was just like, yeah, this is just like sexist and like shitty and like obviously I don't know. I think the movie probably had a lot of stigma to fight against from the beginning, like being what it was. But yeah, NC-17 rating originally for this movie. That's fucking crazy. Because it's so harmless. They don't even show, we were talking about, none of the movies we've watched show sex. Yeah. At all. In really any capacity. Anything beyond kissing, really.
It feels kind of hard to find in, like, queer women films.
Yeah, I bet because they don't want to, like, lean into that stereotype of, like, over-sexualization, which is, like, you can really step into blue is the warmest color territory, like, real quick with that, you know?
Blue is the warmest color is like the farthest end of the spectrum.
Yeah, true.
But no, you're so right.
Hey, if anyone out there has a tasteful lesbian sex scene in a movie that they really stand by, send it our way. I'd love to see some. No, truly. Like, send me like your like Miss Mojo's top 10 tasteful lesbian sex scenes in movies. I would really like to know.
The only one that I can think of is Carol. It's like kind of it's kind of harmless. Yeah. But then at the other end of the spectrum is literally blue is the warmest color, which is just porn.
I would say that the most mild end of the spectrum is like Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which isn't even really sex, it's just them like naked doing art. Yeah. like fun gal pal time, but
Yeah.
like also the titties are out.
Yeah. Like fingering someone's armpit with drugs.
To do DMT, you gotta finger the armpit real quick. It's a little erotic, but it's not sexual. So anyways, thank you for listening.
If you've made it this far, congratulations.
Yeah, congrats. Thank you for listening. We're The Swamp. You can find us on TikTok at The Swamp Podcast, on Instagram and Twitter at The Swamp Pod. You can send us an email, like business professional. That'd be fucking cool. Send us a poem. Write me a haiku.
Yeah, get really creative with how you reach out.
Write me a haiku about your favorite tasteful lesbian sex scene. If you want to tweet at Dante Basco to get him on the show, some fan-generated support would be great. If you want to tweet at Adam and Eve and have them work with us for our movie-themed dildo line, that would be great too, because, we can't just throw that out there. It makes us look self-centered. So you guys got to come with the big ideas.
Yeah, if you want to see these products, well, you're going to have to work with us.
But our email is theswamppod@gmail.com. We're on fucking LinkedIn.
If
you want to connect with us on LinkedIn,
follow the page.
Fucking I guess, but go for it. That would be really super cool of you. That would be like crazy. And what am I missing? What social media am I missing? Oh, our website, theswamppodcast.com. You can also check out our merch there. Maybe we can pay Jen. Maybe she'll come up with better. Maybe she'll type them next time so we can read her handwriting. No, I shouldn't have said that. I'm going to cut that out because then she'll actually do it. Jen is great. We love Jen here, and we'd love to buy her a scented candle or maybe a cup of coffee one day. But that's
one nip.
Honestly, that's on you guys right now. Her not getting paid is like kind of you guys' fault because we don't sell enough tote bags. Sometimes I just make enough just to cover the shipping. So you guys better get on that Let's Pay Jen GoFundMe type beat.
We'll work on shirts. If you tell us that you want shirts. But right now,
interest is just between the two of us.
Yeah. Dara printed me a shirt the other day, and it's like the only thing I've worn for the last week.
Oh my god. You should sell it. I bet it's rank. Sell it to a fan who really wants your musk.
Yeah. Who wants my printed swamp tee? It's got our logo on it.
It's got our logo and your feminine musk. Anyways, thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.